What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action! Sporting in the right side of the map in the blue color. Weighing in at 155 pounds because he can lift. Is that a lot of pounds? That's not a lot of pounds. It's 300 pounds of pure muscle. That's better. His name is Ulysses, and he is playing Isis. His opponent today in the red color playing as Gaia. He is not DoD Rangers. DoD Rangers is an old player who I think was the owner of DoD. He ran DoD, but has long since departed from the Age of Mythology world, and is probably doing more adultish things. But this is a guy. We don't know who he is. Some people say that it's one person. Other people say that it's a different person. So we're just gonna call him the Gaia player for this game. Yes, he is playing Gaia, and he is a very, very strong player. No doubt about this. Now, the reason I'm watching this game is a self-learning experience. We've got one of the best players in the world in Ulysses piloting Isis against Gaia, a matchup that I actually find quite difficult. I want to see what he's going to come up with in this matchup and how he's going to manage to utilize the strengths of Isis to get an advantage here. Now, the map is Blue Lagoon, so I mean things are a little bit different than on some other maps. Maybe some sort of strategies that you can go for on Blue Lagoon might not work on, say, Alfheim or something else like that, or Oasis or whatever. But you kind of have to decide what you're going to do regardless and try and get as much value as you possibly can. So Ulysses, he's already out onto these zebras. He has found himself a second town center here and here. And as it looks, neither of these town centers are that pretty. Actually, tell a lie, this one's very pretty. It's got an elephant on it, so I'll take it all back. That's a great town center for Ulysses. So we'll see if he's going to get that one there. He's chucking up his monument first before throwing his temple down. Now, there is a way in which you can get this monument up and get a temple down and get a 415 to 430 advance time, and it's going to look very much like that's a possibility here for Ulysses, so long as he throws that temple down very, very shortly. Now, there is another option here. You do not need to go fast to the classical age, depending on what your strategy is. There is an idea of fast heroic one town center. Essentially, with the Egyptians, we'll talk about Gaia a little bit later. With the Egyptians, you kind of have three strategies. The first strategy is a very fast advance time to abuse the early game pharaoh, priest, and god powers like your Anubis, your sea snakes, or your shifting sands, or something like that. The second strategy is a later advance time with monuments, in order to either get a second town center or do something aggressive in the classical age. And then there's finally the third option, which is a one town center play or a three town center play where you advance a little bit later, say 515-ish, for a more economic classical age, and then obviously a strong heroic age to boot. So we're seeing Ulysses seemingly going here for a 430 advance, one monument, completely fine, completely fair, completely beautiful. Now, on the other hand, here we do have Rangers. He is going for what looks to be one extra, the pig abuse here. I like that. One extra villager over his 430. So he's going for a 515 advance time here with Gaia. There is method to this madness, the idea being that he wants to get up an early second town center as well as getting to the classical age at a relatively quick time. So we'll probably see our Gaia player here jumping over onto this gold mine as he's going to advance through Oceanus and then try and chuck this town center up as he's going to the next age, or stay one town center. Hopefully, I've got things in the chat saying things are bad. Audio. Hopefully that's not a real thing. Who knows? I don't. And I mean, we'll see exactly what he's going to do here. And it is looking like, yeah, he's going for this town center. Thank you so much for the 5 months, Grid Runner. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And the sound is all normal. And yes, with this many villages here on gold and wood, it's a town center time. This is an old strategy that Gaia players used to do. Very, very strong. And I think it was actually first popularized by a guy called Hotcha as one of the very first Gaia mains. This guy was pretty rubbish back in the day. Now, we do see Anubis through for Ulysses, so he is going for some early aggression here with the Anubites. He's getting himself the relic here, infantry hack vulnerability reduction. If that makes any more sense than you, I don't. Basically, there's more hack armor on this relic. Now, we are going to be seeing Ulysses running his guys forward, and he is going for what's seemingly looking like a little bit of a priest rush. Now, there is a priest already over here. There may be early serpents onto this location here, and this has been something that I've seen a little bit in the past from some players with Isis against Gaia, with a set against Gaia. Now, this does not do that much damage, to be honest, to our Gaia player. Our Gaia player is, he's actually not gone for the second town center. Instead, he's opted for watchtowers, and honestly, there's really not that much damage that the priests are going to do, and you can actually essentially just go fast heroic here in this situation as the Atlantean player. You get your watchtowers, you go heroic age, and your opponent spent so many resources on everything else that you're completely fine. But here it's seemingly looking like our Gaia player being very out of position, and these priests getting a little bit of damage before probably having to retreat back into the home base, and then jumping onto the Gaia forest trees and all the other good stuff. He does have some berry bushes over here, and he does have his Caladria to heal everything up. Feeling fancy fresh. So Ulysses gets map control. He's getting all of the food. I'm not going to have to deal with that. Restricted a second town center grab from our Gaia player here, and he's got to be happy with that. He hasn't lost anything. These priests are always going to be useful to some degree because of the potential dryads that are going to come in, so you're never going to be too unhappy about having those, but he is down a god power. He does not have himself Ancestors Eclipse. The threat of that is no longer here in this game, and the snakes have all been dealt with, as our Gaia player can now very comfortably start thinking about getting himself economic upgrades, and everything else. Has got himself hand axe, pickaxe already, and it's going to be a very, very nice situation to be in here, as the Guardian Anubites are actually out for Ulysses. So he is actually going fairly heavy onto these Anubites, at least getting one upgrade for them. How much does that cost? Is it 5 favor, 10 favor? It's a lot of favor actually to invest into simply one Anubite. So we'll see if he's going to continue to build them, and it does seemingly look like that is exactly what is going to happen here for Ulysses. Now, the question to really ask is Ulysses going to think about maybe going for more of a classical fight here behind this, or is this just simply going to be some sort of semi-fast mythic to get out early Son of Osiris while restricting the Gaia player from being able to get a second town center? As we do see the Anubite getting pushed back, a couple of hero units out for our Gaia player to defend. Now, unfortunately for our Gaia player, only getting the current economic upgrades that he has is going to slow him down a little bit. So you kind of can skip town centers with Gaia, because you can instead just opt to get all of your economic upgrades, but you do want to get 2 town centers. So you can skip that 3rd town center where maybe Uranus or Cronus would need it, and instead of getting that one, you can get yourself all your economic upgrades, and it kind of balances out fairly similarly. You don't spend 700 resources on a town center. I think it's a little bit better for you in those situations. So we do see this villager moving forward. Surprised to see this is very, very aggressive considering the Anubites that are out. Might want to throw down a mana here and just make sure the citizen is safe. Ulysses, on the other hand, he does have himself 2 barracks. He's got himself slingers and spearmen coming out in this game. So this is a hardcore classical fight coming through for Ulysses in this game. He's gotten himself the Anubites. He's getting himself these spearmen. The spearmen don't really counter too much. They're okay against the Murmiller. They do beat the Terma. They are speedy, but in the end of the day, they're not the best unit of choice here against these hero Murmiller. That is for sure. And that's going to be a big unit to deal with these Guardian Anubites here, which are coming through to try and defend this nicely, as we do see a Gaia Forest getting thrown down somewhere around here. Who knows? On this location here, going to be trying to defend those rhinoceros or something. As the town center is now coming down for our Gaia player. But, you know, it is late. This is 8 minutes, 9 minutes into the game. So Ulysses has definitely gotten something out of his early game here that he's going to be very, very happy with. As another potential Terma here will be falling. There we go. One more jab, and he's out of there. And then the Murmiller can just get away. No problems. So we'll see how this is all going to go as these units are swinging around and trying to defend all the good stuff. But really, I'm just interested in what Ulysses is going for a second town center here. So he's going to match the second town center of our Gaia player. And he's going to attempt to push in here. There are a whole handful of units already on this location. So even if we can get in and defend this, it's going to be, or attack this, it's going to be a difficult time. So you do see the units circling around the back. Got a Carnivora getting thrown down onto this location and attempting to pick off one of those spearmen. Does not quite get it. Town center gets up. Ulysses is going to be a little bit sad about that one because his classical army here is, strictly speaking, here to restrict the Gaia player from getting onto more than one town center. Just keep Gaia player on one town center, essentially being his strategy here, but not actually able to do that. And the population is still very, very similar. There is a little bit left of hunt on the map here and here for Ulysses. Our Gaia player has got all of his rhinoceros here. He's got all this hunt up the top, but he's probably not going to be able to go for it. And he's probably going to have to start investing into those farming technologies here. If we actually look at what's coming through for him, he actually doesn't have any farming technologies coming through, not utilizing Gaia to the max here. And definitely cut those military units. Get yourself plow, get yourself at least irrigation. And then if you can also afford flood control after that, it's going to be very, very good. As you do see, Rangers now going to be sneaking around. I say Rangers, but it's not Rangers. He's going to be sneaking around this side of the map here, going for a cheeky raid as the villager does come forward. He's going to be trying to wall this off, but a little bit too late. One villager going to get sniped here. Big win there for our Gaia player as Ulysses is going to be retreating back. Ulysses does have all of his units already over here to push back and try and hold on to this location. Might see that wall get thrown down, attempt to get thrown down yet again as this gold mine over here has been claimed with a couple of walls. So it is a little bit of a difficult one to wall off. He's going to have to put some kind of crummy walls here. One big wall into this location would be good, and then he could finish walling off up here and be pretty happy about that as the villagers have started to wall this one there as these Guardian Anubites. He's got 5 of them, so they're going to be very, very strong here to get to maybe get some villager picks or some unit picks or something like that the DRD Rangers that our Gaia player here is not going to know about. But at this point, it's just looking like the Anubites are checking out the town center and seeing what's happening there, right? Realizing nothing's going on, and then they're going to start moving in. Now, one thing that you do have to be very, very cautious of when you're going Anubites is if the Gaia player can get to the Heroic Age and get Contarius out, these Anubite raids start being very, very pointless. As we just see some very nice marker there from the Gaia player to dodge that jump. The jump doesn't do all too much damage in the end of the day, but this does damage here as the Citizen is running for the tower as those Anubite dogs get in there and start scratching away. And in the end of the day, don't get a villager pick, but do get a little bit of damage done. A couple of snipes over here, one dead spearman as the Terma going to be attempting to run away. Now, unlike Uranus, Gaia's Terma are a little bit sad, which is probably why Ulysses feels like he can go with the spearman against a Gaia player rather than against maybe an Uranus player. Because that equal speed really does make these spearmen much more useful against the Terma. But we'll see how it's going to go. As normally, I probably wouldn't recommend going this many Terma as Gaia just because they're so slow. They do kind of remind me a little bit of the old Peltast in a way. And we know how I feel about Peltast. They're not the best. And Terma are basically Peltast, speedy Peltast. So the speed is what's important, and if they don't have that max Uranus speed, they become even more weak, as we are seeing our Gaia player attempting to get to the Heroic Age, and same too is Ulysses here. He's either full villagers, which is very probable here, or he's cut villagers, but he is going through Nephthys, so not deciding to go through Hathor here, wanting the potential ancestors to get some good damage done onto his opponent. Big timing push would be huge here. He's got himself a whole butt ton of wood in the bank, getting himself the 3rd town center in the back corner over here, still raiding with these Guardian Nubites, and does manage to snipe one citizen there as it seemingly just gets erased off the map. But no, he does fade into the ground. Nice play from Ulysses, finally getting a little bit of real tangible value out of those Anubites as he's still just distracting all those hero Murmillos. You see him jumping in there onto the Murmillo to get a little bit of damage, but not going to be all that big of a deal, as the rest of Ulysses' army is just going to be hanging out in reserve, not really needing to do all too much here. Interested to see what unit composition we'll see we'll see Ulysses go for here. His Rangers does manage to get up his third town center. The Thea is also coming through. So this is a really spicy point in the game, because this is kind of where Gaia starts excelling. But I'm seeing the Gaia player here not getting those farming upgrades, and that is so important because it really boosts your food economy over your opponents, and that's where you get a whole lot of advantage. You get the faster Mythic Age, faster technology upgrades, more real strong units like the Destroyer, like the Fanatic, you know, all those really Mormo Milo, Contarius, etc. It's a big potential raid coming onto this location here. But Ulysses, he's got a wall here. He can walk through the wall, but unfortunately, he's a little bit slow to the party. And, well, our Gaia player is a little bit slow to the party here, as Ulysses does manage to react. We do see an attempted ghost building here from Ulysses, but it's not going to be enough, as the units are simply just going to be walking away from this location. Still going to be a couple more picks here. Sometimes it's worth it to just sack 1 or 2 units into your opponent's army so that they can't like continue to chase you, because if they do get 1 or 2 shanks in, they're going to get slowed down quite a bit. So we do see the market coming through for Ulysses. He wants to get to the Mythic Age very quickly. Obviously, it's a very big win condition here. Not necessarily a win condition, but advantage for an Isis player or an Egyptian player, specifically Ra and Isis, over the Atlanteans is the Son of Osiris, especially if the Atlantean player is still mass Terma. And Terma are fine up until a certain point, and I do say that the Gaia Terma, Cronus Terma, not so good, but you definitely don't want to overdo it. As you're seeing Hecate come through for our Gaia player, which I think is definitely a mistake against Isis. The amount of places where you're going to be able to actually cast a god power is going to be severely restricted from the god power blocking. And we do see a monument to the priest going up on this town center. And I think that Implode and Atlas in general with Gaia is really strong for the fact of this upgrade in this town center here, the Titan Shield. This is negative 15% building, hack and crush vulnerability, which might not seem like a lot, but when you pair it with Architects and Gaia Lush and channels, things start becoming, and Hero Citizen, cheaper Hero Citizen, things start getting out of control really quickly for literally every single civilization. As we see a cheeky hero says, look at this, 158 food, 32 wood. It's not that expensive for Gaia, who's got a ridiculous amount of resources, but we also aren't seeing an attempted trade route started just yet, and this game does feel very boomy at this point here, and I think early trade route definitely seems like a good idea, and I think Ulysses is already on top of that, even if he has gone with the patented Matrius market. I mean, if you got to learn from the best, you got to copy the best and be the best. You know what I'm saying? As the houses are starting to get taken down here. And Ulysses a little bit out of position as his army's going to try and get over onto this position here to defend as he's pushing forward here. This Hero Citizen has been caught out just a little bit here as the Spearmen are going to be coming through. This Stymphalian Bird going to fly up above here to try and take down some of these Guardian Anubites. He does a lot of damage to this, as we do see over here. The Son of Osiris has been cast in the middle of the base here. We have the Mummy, still no Tartarian Gate getting dropped just yet. The Hero, or sorry, the Heavy Terma are out. So we are starting to see some Arcus getting built now by our Gaia player, who's also getting some Destroyers through here as well. This Citizen still on the run here, has got that 3.45 speed, no channels. Channels is such an important upgrade for the Gaia player, as we do see an Ancestors coming down as well to counter this Tartarian game. My God, Rave Dave Ilum, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits, my friend. That means so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Now, the Ancestors does come in and does 100% counter the Tartarian Gate with the help of a siege weapon like the Catapult here. Ulysses playing this incredibly smart. He monumented up his back town centers. He gets a Catapult onto his front town center. The Tartarian Gate is down. If he went for Atlas, Implode on this position, big push, could be a completely different story, but that's not what happened here. Tartarian Gate dealt with, still have to deal with the Osiris that has been built as well, as these Tartarian spawns will get taken down. I'm not exactly sure where said Son of Osiris is at this point. Did he already die? The Guardian Nubite still running around the map, causing chaos. I don't know. Did he die? I can't see him anymore. Oh, there he is. Hello. Full HP. Full HP, Son of Osiris. Let's go. But the house is still getting taken down. Ulysses still being pushed to the limit here. We do see a new kingdom getting researched here from Ulysses nice and early. That upgrade is super underutilized, super strong. Getting an extra pharaoh for only 270 gold. The 25 favor is a lot, but it's still super good to be doing that. As you see a Lampede coming in onto this position, actually gets pulled back just a little bit here, as maybe no, okay, he does get taken down. He could have actually converted the mummy there, as the Lampede does work very quickly. As we see a big raid now coming onto this back town center here. We have a handful of destroyers. The villagers will start repairing this. We've got mercenary cavalry getting built out of this position here. Ulysses does have himself, he doesn't have masons here, but I'm sure he's going to be thinking about researching that one as the raids are coming through. The army swinging around the back here, as our Gaia player is definitely getting caught out, and the Son of Osiris is in just a ridiculously good position here, and he can just continue to micro this one back, leaving a siege tower here next to the Son of Osiris. He's really, really smart as well, because you can garrison inside of the sentry, inside of the siege tower to dodge projectiles and everything else. The army completely cleans up here as Ulysses absolutely demolishes that army. Ulysses at 147 pop. Our Gaia player is at 130 pop here. It's a Tartarian, there's the Symphalian birds coming through, fire siphons coming out. More of these Arcus getting built, but all the resources in the world right now aren't going to be helping our Gaia player without more buildings. We need more buildings down to support that spam. Look at how much he's got. Does he have armory upgrades just yet? No armory upgrades. He's starting to research them right now, but only one armory. And this is just feeling a little bit like our Gaia player he's just not spending his resources. And Ulysses, on the other hand, he's got basically no resources in the bank. He's got the gold in the bank, but everything else is being spent, it seems, on important things. As this Son of Osiris is absolutely getting away with murder in this position here. Our Gaia player could have like a handful of Contarius in reserve here to come through and destroy this, but he doesn't have them just yet. He's got himself the heavy Contarius research, but just doesn't have the units out, and he does decide in that moment to tap out, as he's even got mercenary cavalry raiding this gold mine over here. We've got siege towers bashing down walls over here. Cheeky side build started from Ulysses already. Still no trade route set up from our Gaia player, and he just decides, well, I guess that's it. Gonna tap out. There's definitely so many things here that Gaia can do that are so ridiculously strong, especially given the way that Ulysses played. I can definitely foresee what an implode would have looked like onto an army that's looking like this. Can also foresee you spending all your resources here on a Contarius follow-up against this type of army here as well. Able to take down the Son of Osiris with that Contarius follow-up could be absolutely devastating. But in this game, it seemingly looks like our Gaia player just did not quite have the forethought to do all of that, and Ulysses does manage to get the win, as he does play around a lot of the Atlantean strengths very nicely here. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you guys are on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.